The judge, the jury, and the executioner is all AI.
It's a whole different mindset.
And I've been like, damn, I've been coming to jail since I was 8. I ain't never been out of jail.
How close our judicial system is to something like that.
We will likely be punished by our own creation. Last of a Dying Seed, the only platform on this planet where we use cinematic scenes to expose unseen narratives in the real world. Now, if you already subscribe to the channel, then you know that I usually take on individuals who choose a movie that they believe relates to some area of their life. But now, this is the first video where we're incorporating a whole series that's still aligned with the MQ framework, but is more so on taking a movie that still demonstrates the human experience and we're decoding the meaning it has to the human condition. And today I have Michael Mosley on the channel. I have Chance Hall on the channel. And the movie that we're touching on today is called Mercy, where the judge, the jury, and the executioner is all AI. So let's start it off, Michael. Thoughts came to mind when you watched the movie?
So I had to watch it twice. And mainly for me, it was about the part where the human element is taken out of it. Where like the compassion. This is just facts as they are. They're basically demonstrated and then they're executed on literally. And it really just makes you think like how close our judicial system is to something like that. Not as far as the punishment part, but how is it going to be in 10 years? Are we going to just have judge trials, no longer jury trials? You know what I mean? And it's just, they present the facts as they are, and boom, that's your case.
Right. And what do you think, Chance? Like, is this one of those what ifs or what is?
So I watched it like 3 times, man. And for me, it was my CDC number is BB7231. So when we talk about facts and numbers and data, that's real life. I mean, that's California penal code. That's California justice system. For me, it was the movie seems sci-fi, but most of the movies do. They kind of put the truth in front of you, and you see it or you don't. And coming through the systems, man, I'm like, I just sat in that chair with shackles on, and it might not have been an execution in 90 minutes, but you killing me. If you sentence me to a day, a year, 10 years, 25 to life, you ruining my life, whether I'm guilty of the crime or not. Like he mentioned about the compassion and the humanity part, man. We get turned into dollar signs, numbers, and data and statistics. So to me, it was that movie was deeper than the entertainment for sure.
For sure, for sure. And a lot of things that's going on in the movie I see is already there. Like when they get to talking about the red zones to keep people who with criminal records out of, I feel like they're already doing that. They just not telling us to our face. Once you get a criminal record, immediately it puts up boundaries around established society for you. You just don't see it until you actually cross that line and they want to handle you. But you're always going to have that mark on you. And they showing us that. And they also showing us like once you get arrested, you're already guilty. He had to start from being guilty to work his way down. Like we already experienced that shit, you know. And when people allow AI to govern people, it's still going to be a large biasness incorporated in it because it's created by people who are biased and prejudiced. So the people who create it is already implementing it in there. And you can't allow it to sweep the history of America because all the history says is that black and brown are likely guilty. So it's a lot of troubling things inside of that. That's the first thing I see. But what do y'all think like the implications it's going to have on like society period though, like just leaning on its judgment instead of our own judgment?
So I'm reminded of this book I read. It was called Goliath, right? And basically, they had a nuclear submarine that had an AI component, and it went full sentient. And basically, this one submarine declared war on the world because the world, as it saw, was violating some sort of treaty or something like that, right? And they had to like do all the stuff to get the submarine that can't be detected and all this stuff. They had to find it and basically get it to shut down in a way because they couldn't stop it because it's fully sentient. And but it brought up the point where this one submarine with the nuclear capabilities and all that stuff, it basically brought world peace because it was like, you violate this treaty, I'm just going to blow you up. So it forced everybody on the planet to uphold to this treaty and stop nation building essentially, right? Where they're just going and conquering land. So like you look at it like that's a very broad perspective of what this is, but it still kind of brings into the question like, are we headed towards something like that? You know what I mean? Especially when they're starting to build all these data centers and all this stuff. They're going to make basically a nervous system for AI with all the different components, and then it's going to be linked globally. And then where do you go from there?
So are we headed that way, Chance?
I kind of look at like as far as like the movie, right, and AI. And John Hope Bryant, if you ever heard of him, he billionaire, very successful businessman. He does a lot of different topics, but
Operation
he was
Hope.
speaking right. He was speaking on AI, and it's not about is AI coming. No, it is. It ain't really like a me and you. We peons as far as it ain't. We can't stop the movement of AI. AI, I use it, you use it, we all use it, right?
Sure.
But the problem isn't AI. It's those biases you speak on when it like the systems that we know there's built-in prejudice from both sides.
Always been.
Color is kind of irrelevant. Environment, all those things will play a factor. But it's like at what point I look at it like I worked on the assembly line, man, and you just see those parts get placed on the line, and it goes from A to B to C to Z. And when it comes to the courtrooms, that's kind of how we are. We go to booking as you going up, as you belling out, and then when you go up, you bell out, then you go to the pods, and you go to prison. So it's kind of like I'm on a conveyor belt, man. And is it my name is irrelevant? You put me as a number, as a data, and you ship me on this conveyor belt, and that's what AI is designed to do. Insert the data, give me the data, and I'm gonna kind of just process you. I'm not going to factor in does Michael has kids? Is Bryson did he have a rough childhood? Oh, that's irrelevant. I got the data, and let's move along. So it's kind of like the humanity part of we could put so much into computers, but computers ain't people, man, and we going there. So the biggest thing I can say is the same thing with bombs and guns, and like they say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Same thing with AI. AI ain't gonna be the problem. What are we using it for, man? That's kind of where I've been like viewing AI or just technology in general. We used to have to pull up to see what was going on outside. Now I can video call you and see what's going on. I don't need to pull up to the block no more to know what's going on the block. So what am I going to do with that power? Am I going to use it for a negative influence or a positive? And that's kind of where I've been at with that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think in the movie they broke past that boundaries of AI needing man to operate it. You know what I'm saying? Guns still need us to operate it. In the movie, they broke past that boundaries, and I believe in a lot of areas of society where we're there and we're going to move there to where we're so lazy, we want to build that thing that's going to take care of everything. But then when you give it complete autonomy and you think it because you implemented these guardrails in it that it's going to stay in line, it may, but the danger is it's going to strike before it hesitates and reconsider things because of this data that you put up in it. Like in the movie, it's like it has zero compassion, be traumatized if it kill you.
Yeah.
If you go past this percentage, you're gone, and let's move along. Whereas people, we're gonna try to second guess it, think about it, and as bad as it is with certain races, still though, it's gonna be even worse when you give a computer complete autonomy over the whole human race. You know, that's crazy. So what do you think, like, who benefits the most and who's going to suffer the most if we was in this movie?
The person that owns the source code, because they can essentially do whatever they want. The people that are going to feel it the most are going to be those that are in the red zone, you know, as far as the movie wise. But in our world, it's the Sam Altmans and You know what I mean? The guys that own Palantir and things like that. Those are the guys that own the source code to the AI. And with that, you can change it. You can manipulate it. Same thing like Grok is manipulated now. It's not how it used to be a few years ago. It's been manipulated. All of them are. That's just like Anthropic. They just leaked the Claude code for Anthropic's brain. So now it's going to be an open user, and there's no telling what people are going to be able to do with that source code.
So what does the movie expose us, or does the movie changes our perspective to even create a world like that, or is it already exposing us for who we are?
I think the latter. I think it exposes us because we're only this far away from that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it just exposes us, especially when you have the haves and the have-nots. That's a capitalistic society. You have haves and have-nots. Everybody that was in the red zone, regardless of who they were a have-not. And they were viewed a certain way, they were policed a certain way. And you seen like when Jack, when she flew her little helicopter thing over there, she automatically went in there ready for battle. Even though at the end of the day, she was the one in the wrong. She was the criminal. She caused all of it with her criminal behavior. But she went in there knowing, oh, this is a red zone, you know, and you heard the guy say, oh, you can't get close. They'll try to take your helicopter.
So just saying that human beings are just as messed up as AI, because
Well,
she was rogue.
the AI is only as good as its creator.
Right.
So the moral compass of us is already skewed, right? Not no, I mean as a whole, humanity as a whole is already skewed. Because if it wasn't, we would never nation build. We would never go conquer our neighbor. We would never steal from them. So our moral compass is already skewed. So when you have something that you're going to input to control, somebody has to be able to manipulate that, because nobody is ever going to just release something like that and it's all hands off, it's on its own. Somebody's always going to want their fingers in it. That way they can control it, they can manipulate it.
All right. What you think, Chance?
Yeah, we're going back to who benefits and who suffers, right? I've come from a viewpoint to, at one point in my life, you got the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs and all them, right? They control everything. They benefit what they do, but most of them started out like me and you. One thing I know is somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. And as messed up as it sounds, right, is the person that's going to win is the person that sees the opportunity in it. So AI, I'm watching businesses in Fresno. I'm from Fresno, by the way. And man, there's so many opportunities blossoming out of like content creators. And I'm watching my homies do food reviews and all these extra effects. And I'm like, damn, I went to school with you and you learned a little bit of technology and you done kind of blew past Fresno. You got people commenting. I just started YouTube. It's people commenting from Australia and all this. I mean, these different things. So it's like you're going to get from something whatever you looking for. So if I'm looking for the negative in AI, I'm going to find it. But if I'm looking for the positive, I'm gonna find it as well. And that's not to say it's gonna be perfect. So ain't no system perfect, ain't nothing perfect. And as far as my understanding now and my look on life is somebody has to control it. I get it. We don't want that. Like I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. But if there's nobody to govern what I do, where would the world be? The world's fucked up, right? But if there wasn't a president and a sheriff and a county municipal and a state court and a federal court and all these things, man, we already go wild with these controls and with these things in our way, these barriers, right? And all these policing and different things. But without it, it's kind of like, look at the red zones, man. You think it's a movie, that's real life, but just imagine if there was no policing going on coming from the yards. There's politics for a reason. There's rules being followed for a reason, because without them, I could just imagine. When the dude started talking back to AI and she started glitching and shutting off and was like, oh, wait a minute, you telling me to use some reasoning? Well, hold it. Let me recalculate. I'm at 40% now. That's how humans do. We kind of shut down when you telling me I'm trained to shoot, I'm trained to kill, I'm trained to do this only. Fuck the emotion, forget all the everything. That's, man, wait, hey, listen to this reasoning, listen to this logic. He started glitching. We do the same thing as people. So I look at it like somebody has to control it. There is going to be a group of people that are the haves, and some of us are going to be have-nots. My goal is to if I am a have not, let me look at the have and say, how can I work towards getting in your inner circle? Because that's just life. It ain't about fairness, or I used to think it was, but it's just not. It's not realistic. You can look back on any old book, any testament, any Quran, any Bible, man, and I mean it's the way of nature. With animals, us, technology is kind of like all built the same thing.
Right,
I
right, right.
fully agree with that. But at the same time, you got to be able to get in those rooms where the opportunity is presented.
One thing that movie also taught me is that we will likely be punished by our own creation. Because all throughout, since, human beings were on this earth, and we created these products and these things to be bought by and traded by the masses. Man has been killed by them same products. Every man-made creation is neutral. There's no good or bad to it. Once again, like Chance said, it's not the gun, it's the gun holder. It's man. And I feel like with all that said, we can't escape evil. We can't escape good. It's all about how do you navigate this world, and you personally, what is your intentions when you're handling your power, your influence, and these tools that's given to you. So what does that make y'all think about, if you agree, like we will eventually be destroyed by our own creation?
I mean, it already happened. That's why we have conventional war. You know what I mean? We're not in trenches waiting to see a little shadow over there and whatever. We're not running. We don't have armies marching towards each other with swords. You know what I mean? We are literally pushing buttons, watching a screen 2,000 miles away, killing people by the dozen. So we are already at that point where we're being killed by our own devices.
I mean, man, when you say killed by your own creation, right? We go back to, you want to go back to younger days as far as for me and gang banging and just that environment, right? This was created and yet it's killing me. And it's killed a lot of my peers, and it's killed my environment, and it's killed generations and generations and hope and a lot of things. So it's multi-layered, man. Like a lot of things get created maybe with the right mindset. Like you mentioned, you said something about intentions. Like what are you gonna do with the power that's handed to you or that you come across, or if you go conquer it, like you said, if you conquer your neighbor and you take his land and you take his resources, if your intentions are wrong from the jump, it's gonna collapse on you. It's that yin and the yang, it's the black and the white, is eventually it has to equal out. And it's sad to say, but it is. It's get with it or get lost. It's survival of the fittest, and that's just been a proven law of nature that whatever's set in motion, it ain't no stopping no more. It's out there. It's gonna keep expounding. It's gonna keep expanding. It's gonna catch a wave, and you're either gonna go with it or you'll get left behind. So it's kind of like you got to learn the rules of the game and play. I mean, and play them and make them to the best of your benefit. But at the same time, keep a moral compass as you're doing that. Don't get lost in the sauce, so to say, and let it take you beyond something like that you just not with, because we see that all the time too. So I would just say that when I say watching a movie, it's kind of like I looked at it as use whatever it is in front of you wisely, and that's gonna be way easier said than done. It's gonna take a lot of trial and error, as you've seen all the twists and the turns in the movie with the characters. And he said if he pulling him to rest, don't tripping, but yet you the one that started the war, but you got a million people saying you in the right. So it's kind of
Right.
like, what can you do? Only thing you can do is learn it, see the information, use it like AI, use it as data, and just move from step to step and keep going.
For sure. And try your best to like stay steady, because the more and more we are technologically advanced, we become more and more distracted and detached from our true power that comes from within. And it's like, how do we ever create? Because they keep trying to come with these theories of AI eventually being flawless, right? How can it ever be that when it's built by a fallible being? The AI asked the dude, what did we just do? He responded, we all do what we're programmed to do. Human beings are programmed and conditioned, and you put that into a system. So how could this ever be perfect? It's crazy. What do
It,
you
it
think?
can't, because the source code is always going to have man-made attributes. No matter how much you strip it down and bear it out and just make it the raw data, period, it's always going to have something in there of a fallacious nature because it's made by us. So there's nothing you can do.
Right. And what part of the movie, whether it's a action scene sequence or like overarching theme of it, that really set with you the most, Chance?
For me, man, it was watching when he was put on trial and instantly, like you said, he started off guilty, 98% guilty, and you got your daughter saying, "How can you do this?" Her grandfather, "How can you do this?" The mentor, the AA mentor, which comes to the end, he has something to do with it, but everybody just saying like, "Damn, again." Like he already had all these flaws as a human, as a person, drinking and whatever little defects or character he had. And the moment one little something comes up, everybody just jumps on. Are you guilty? That was for me. That was the biggest thing because like I got Chat GBT right, and I journal on there all the time. I make my videos on YouTube all the time off of my thoughts. I type my thoughts in and shoot something back, and it always remind me of it's only shooting out what I'm putting in. It's just clarifying it and it's code. And I remember one day I was having a conversation basically with myself, and I'm like, damn, how quick if I get arrested, people would just, oh, he did it again. He ain't changed. He's still this. He's still acting like this, but you said this. And it's like, damn, people are so quick to judge, so quick to punish, so quick to say, all right, that's it. Your character gone, your innocence gone, you're guilty. Mercy court don't gotta say I'm guilty. You already been told me I'm guilty. The media said I'm guilty, and even proving your innocence when she said, "What have we done?" It's like even if I prove I'm not that person no more, I'm not that teen, I'm not that street, I'm not that gang or whatever it is. It's like, but where do I go from there? Because you've already put me in this box, you already put me in this category, you already typed in ABC parentheses and label me. I'm already a data center in your head. And that's kind of hard to get rid of because like first impressions and last time we talked, all those things stick. So it's kind of like when we say we enter data into AI, we enter us into computers, where does it go? You could try to delete it and erase it, right? But the cloud is endless. It's out there. So that was the overarching thing of once you put something into the atmosphere, bad energy, good energy, whatever it is, it's kind of like there is no taking it back. Once you put something out, you could say, okay, let me rectify this, but there is no pulling that back. I already released it. And that's kind of like what I got from the biggest like concept of the movie.
It's like they say, it's already on the internet.
Absolutely.
They were able to tap into everybody's phone, camera, car, microphone. It didn't matter what it was because of what Chance just said. It's in the cloud, right? It's in those data centers, the hive mind, basically. And it allowed them to do whatever they want and tap into anything. And they actually brought the reality of like his backyard barbecue to where he was sitting, where he was walking through the whole thing. He walked through the crime scene of his kitchen, pointed out things that they had missed. So
yeah, and just what does that remind us of? Big Brother, complete surveillance. Like people took to streaming because of the convenience of it. Once again, we want to be lazy, but not knowing the bigger plot at hand. Streaming allows them to collect more data on you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Right now, Instagram and other platforms are giving more push to original content. Nobody questioned that.
Yeah.
We want to see your life.
Yeah.
We want to collect as much on you as possible. And as you grow older and we get to see all these different versions of you, we have all that collected in the cloud. And as Chance was talking a few minutes ago as well, it made me think of like even more about the importance of Last of a Dying Seed and what all of us are doing with our individual brands, revising the narrative. Because without this, we will be reduced to a headline because of how we grew up and all the stuff we done did we got snatched up for. Like we will be reduced to that. So if and when this world happens, when mercy happens, that's all we have. We have nothing to combat that in our favor. Everything we're creating now, and that's for everybody that's listening, whether you write books, create content, make movies, video games, whatever you're doing positive, understand that that's a part of your arsenal. When your past try to come back to hunt you, or people don't want to accept this new version of you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, prison is a business. So when they try to snatch you back up to feed their pockets, you have this in your arsenal. You know what I'm saying? This new version of who you are, but you can't just walk around and say, I'm a new me now. You have to actually build up these defense mechanisms, build up that wall, create better relationships, people that's going to come to bat for you. Like, this is a real thing. It ain't nothing just mafia strategy shit. We have a history of them not giving a fuck who you are. Only your skin color means one thing to them: profits and subservience. That's it.
I'm always reminded of the school teacher down there where we at. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm in Northern California now, but down there where you are in Long Beach, right? And school teacher gets pulled over for speeding or whatever in a parking lot. The sheriff immediately grabs her. He's got her. She's probably 100 pounds lighter than him. And he drags her out of her car, picks her up in the air, drops her on her shoulder, cuffs her up. And she said, why did you do that? He said, because you are dangerous. And she asked for clarification. He clarified, you people are dangerous, meaning those of her skin color. So you're automatically viewed in a certain light. And like, I remember watching a Frontline. Remember that they used to have that Frontline? Yeah. And I remember there was a commander or some type of SWAT team or whatever it was. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they were SWAT teams. I think they were just regular officers. But he's telling them, let's get ready to go to war. So you're an officer. You're supposed to be policing the citizenry, right? You're not supposed to solve crime. That's a detective's job. You're supposed to police people and make sure they adhere to the law. That's your job as an officer. When your commanding officer is telling you, let's get ready to go to war, as soon as you walk out of your briefing room, you're automatically in a different mindset. You know what I mean? It's just like us, right? You hear the homie got killed last night. So this morning, you're already in a different mindset. Anybody I see from over there, I'm tripping on. Regardless, I don't even care who they are. It's a whole different mindset. So that's the other part where I'm always like, you have to understand how they're going to approach you, because they could be coming from a different mindset where they're not looking at your person. They automatically see you black, male, hoodie, gun. You know what I mean? How many times we heard, oh, he had a cell phone?
How many COs, I know me personally, but how many COs have came across who their training teach them one thing about us, but when they actually sit down and have a conversation with us, it's always, oh, I would have never expected you to be thinking or talking like that. Like, for what? You know, but it's how they're trained to believe it's us against them, to not trust us. We're always manipulative. We're always this, and that, and we're reduced to a headline. But once they actually give us a chance, like the viewers that's listening right now, you will see, oh, this dude has intelligence. This dude has transformed. This dude has a perspective that can lead me in a better direction. This dude, at the end of the day, is human like me, and we all going to the same place when it's over. Nobody makes it out alive.
And in relation to the conversation, it's like, it's a lot of people I come across, and they'll never expect I've been in prison, never expect I've been in jail. And I've been like, damn, I've been coming to jail since I was 8. I ain't never been out of jail. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the narrative is. I guess when you think of prisoner, inmate, convict, gang member, whatever, you got a certain look. You got tattoos from head to toe in your head. You got, I'm extra loud, I'm extra aggressive, and I'm yes, sir, yes, ma'am. When you open the door, and like you said, they don't expect that. COs included. I'm in a re-entry program now, and I go volunteer in the kitchen, and they like, yeah, you did how much time? I've been in jail plenty of times, but I also know how to, like, I know how to operate. I know how to move around. I know how to not come off of, and I'm not going to open up when I meet you and say, hey, I've been in prison. That's a chapter of my life, but that's, I don't care if I've been in jail my whole life. That's not me. That was an environment I was placed in, but people have this narrative in their head that you have to come off a certain way, or if it doesn't fit their narrative, you're in the wrong somehow. Like, damn, I can't be polite because I was a gang member. I can't have manners because I grew up in a troubled neighborhood. And people just, I can't say what it is, because it's not one thing. It's like multi-layered. Like most things, it's complex, and it's multi, like, it's conditioning, it's You was told this, like you said, it might not have been formal training, but you was told throughout school, college, you did a course on it, and they told you when you run across these people, they gonna act like this. Who is these people? I might have been. It's plenty of prisoners that was in college with you, your classmates and all. You didn't know because he didn't have a monitor on his leg. He didn't have handcuffs on his wrist. That's the only difference that you seen me. If you seen me on the news with shackles, you knew. Other than that, I done sat across in the bus on the bus from you. I done stood in McDonald's with you, and you never knew this individual is that they're X, Y, and Z. Everybody has a story, man, and I can't deduce your story based on what you look like. You can't. The looks is irrelevant. The skin, the how much money, whatever, all that kind of just is a it's a data center, man. That's related to the movie. It's just a data center that I've been collecting. I've been saying if you fit this box, you fit this mold, you this way. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the case at all. I gotta get to know you. I gotta get to talk to you, and I gotta kind of have those conversations to say, "Hey, Bryson, a cool dude. I don't know Bryson that did X, Y, and Z. That has nothing to do with me. I know where you at now, but that's hard to get past our biggest and our flaws because I got them too. I see certain people and already authority figures. I'm triggered, right? But for what? I don't know that you're not gonna come and instantly say, "Hey, you like this?" But since your last CEO did this, that's what I'm on. So I gotta kind of let that go too. And it's hard. It's easier said than done. So I'm just listening and kind of like going through that as well.
Yeah, I think you answered it in the same thing in 10 different ways. You use the word narrative, use the word story twice. You even use is what they've been told. I think our biggest beast that we all have is the story we live inside. That's it. Who's to say this building won't let us in? These people won't give us a seat at the table. But when we already tell ourselves that, oh, they ain't messing with me. We already psyched ourselves out. Or I'm just this, or I'm just that. I'm not this, I'm not that. All right, you're right because you told yourself that. I think our greatest inhibition and our greatest like motivator is the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we live inside, because we grow up around a grand narrative of the culture or the household, but it's what we start to internalize when we pick apart, and whatever we internalize, that's going to have the biggest impact on our mind, how we function in the world, and cause us to commit whatever acts we get and get whatever consequences that come as a result. So I think you said it like if we had to give it a roof to lay up under the narrative, you know what I'm saying? What people tell themselves and what they're being told and what they accept as true. And when it comes to MQ, movie intelligence, and what we're doing right now, that's the whole purpose to help people understand, interpret, and reclaim these narratives that shapes identity, behavior, and culture. Once you're able to understand it and you can use story as a tool, now you can open yourself up to be aware. And now you can start to control your narrative. I was aware growing up. I just went off of whatever my brothers was doing, whatever the homies was doing. And once I seen AB equals whatever, all right, I'm gonna lead the pack now. At the end of the day, like this movie is showing us about the human condition and causing us to reflect on our own condition. Bottom line is when you see the truth, you gotta identify with the truth. So how would you wrap up the movie, Michael?
Well, it's you're always gonna have that fallacy because it's man-made. It's not something that just ethereal that just appeared out of nowhere. Here I am. I'm sentient. I'm gonna tell you what to do. You know what I mean? It's man-made, so it's always gonna be able to be manipulated. You know, it was basically a revenge plot. The system was used by a man with a mechanical degree, basically, that used it as a revenge plot because he knew his brother was unjustly killed. So as long as you always have that element, there's always going to be a way to manipulate it. It's like people always talk about, oh, how do you stop somebody from stealing your car? No matter what you do, somebody's going to find a way. I don't care what type of device you put on your steering wheel. Like I seen one today, it went around the steering wheel and locked into your thing. It locked into your belt clip. I'm like, well, you just cut the steering wheel and the cable comes off the steering wheel. Like, you're not going to stop people because when somebody is motivated to do something, they're going to figure it out. So it's as long as you always have that man-made attribute, it's always going to be fallible.
What you think, Chance? How would you wrap up the movie?
I just watched it again last night, man, and it relates to, for me, the movie related to like a lot of my life as far as the court system, right? Like we come in, you come in guilty, you come in already prejudged, you come in with everything, the deck is stacked against you. So it's like I'm sitting here trying my hardest. I'm shooting my shot. I'm calling sis, moms, my ex, my brother, man, look, I didn't do this. Ah, yeah, okay, but you locked up again, right? And that's kind of what was going on. It's building up. He's steady telling them, like, look at the evidence. Look at what's going on. I get it. I fell back drinking. I fell back doing X, Y, and Z. But I didn't do this. Okay, you didn't do this, but you've been doing this, and this. So is the courtrooms in the interest of justice, or is it let me get a conviction, let me get another number, another conviction, another slap? Hey, like Jackie, hey, I had to make sure the first case was solid, so that way this could bloom, this could blossom. It's a business, right? I do need my first little interaction with the public to be 100% slam dunk. You tried this new juice, it was the best in the world, right? Hey, this conviction was A1. And I got it as the whole little plot unraveled in AA sponsor, you killed your brother on accident because this person, and then your dog, everybody involved. I got it from it was like, it's always a great line. Any book I done read, any story I done wrote, any interaction I done been dealt with, when they say it's two sides of the truth, they're literally, when I say it ain't no right and wrong, it's always something in between because you gonna have your version of events, I'm gonna have mine. I may be 100% right, but I can't get you to agree with that because I'm speaking to a brick wall. I'm telling you one thing and you telling me. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm sitting here telling you, look at the video. This ain't what happened. And you like, no, that ain't what happened. And I'm like, well, damn, okay, maybe I'm tripping. So when it all came down to it, it was kind of like, what is the purpose of the criminal justice system? Is it, like I said, is it in the interest of justice? Is it like where did we go from? I get what it started as, I get what it became, and where we at now is people we flawed, like we all spoke about. AI gonna be flawed. It'll never be a point. We all spoke. It'll never be a point to where it's 100% accurate. There's no such thing. She said the courtroom is 98%. That's the most we'll ever get. Nothing past 98%. Commons is 99%. There's no such thing as 100, man. So it's kind of like it all wrapped up to the gray area. Life is the gray area. We gonna live in the gray area, and there's kind of no. I don't see no future to where a gray area ain't gonna exist. So if you're trying to judge anything off of black and white, you kind of fighting a losing battle. And that's kind of like the whole movie came down to me was doing what we conditioned to do, and we gonna always be conditioned a certain way. People going to evolve, and there's still going to be more conditioning going on after we kind of figure out where we're at. We'll have to figure it out again and again and again.
Man, that was powerful.
Yeah.
So, y'all heard it here. The first video of an entire series called Humans and AI, or AI Humanity. And this was the first video with Michael Mosley, Chance Hall. Once again, movies are just demonstrations of the human experience. And we're here to decode what that means to the human condition. Film is the most powerful medium in this entire world. So if you think you're not being influenced by it, you're not being shaped by it, you're not being nudged by these stories, you're fooling yourself. So subscribe to the channel if y'all want to see more. And until next time, go buy Second Chance CEO by Michael Mosley. Chance, I'm pretty sure you coming out with a book soon, right?
I got an old poetry book to Second Chance, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Chance Begins.
Absolutely. And y'all go get new book just dropped, Pearls of Ism, Film as a Mirror, as a Weapon, and as a Religion.